Hi guys, my name's Michelle Mitchell and I'm from White Elegance. Today what we're going to be doing in this tutorial is putting an invisible zip in and a regular metal zip. Now you can encase your metal zip or you can have it on show. I'll show you how to do both of those options and then we'll put in an invisible zip. With the invisible zip we'll put that in a bit of spare fabric that I've got here, and I'm actually going to show you how to shorten it as well, because if you've got one of these lying around that's too long for what you need to put it in, whether it be a skirt or a pair of pants as opposed to a dress where you'd want a longer one for it, we can actually cut this and make it shorter, but we've also got to reinforce it so that you don't open it all the way, which is a bit of a nightmare. Okay guys, so as you can see we have our invisible zip here and we have our prepared bit of fabric. This is essentially meant to represent the back of a skirt, so we're going to imagine this is the centre back of the skirt and this is where our invisible zip is going to go. You can see that I have a seam here already. That's to represent the centre back seam, as it would usually be already stitched up before you put your invisible zip. Now I did say that we were going to shorten the zip, so what we're going to do is work out exactly how long we want it, and I've already done that, but I'll just show you how I've come to that. So you always want the zip to be a little bit longer than what your opening gap is. So I want it to come to about here. I'm going to leave my pin in there and I'm going to grab a nice pair of sharp scissors and cut. So already we've cut our teeth, so what we need to do now is just reinforce that, because we need to make sure that we don't open this zip all the way, because it will essentially open completely and it will no longer be a zip that we can use. So I'm going to place my foot, or my needle I should say, straight over the top on the teeth. Now you need to do this really carefully because you don't want to break the needle of the machine, and it is quite bulky at the same time. So I'm going to turn my machine on for obvious reasons, and away we go, very gently. And back stitching as we go as well. You need it to be very reinforced. Okay. So with that done, I can turn my machine off, move that out of the way, and we're going to pin it into position. So what you have to remember is this is the right side. So this is a side that you're not going to see, because literally you're only going to see that line that looks like a seam. So we can now safely open it. See how this is secure because of the stitching, and we can place it on. Now it's a really good idea to pin the tape of the zip, to the fabric. You don't want to pull the zip too tight and the fabric not enough, because then you'll end up puckering. So you do it on a really flat surface. I usually put one in the top, one in the bottom, and then go back and do one in the middle. And I do it in the way that you're going to sew it. So you've got to imagine trying to sew it. So we're going to go straight down, but also going to hold that open. Lie that flat, we'll turn it over and have a look. Now there is one problem here, you can't actually see the zip itself, so the zip head. So we're going to turn that back around and stick that out. So just do it very carefully so you don't stick a pin in your finger, for obvious reasons. Okay, now you can see the zip head on the other side, but we're just going to bring that right down to the bottom so it sits nicely there. Okay, now I really do suggest you do one where you have quite a wide stitch just to get the teeth in place, and then you need to do another one where you roll it so you get as close as possible. Okay guys, now that we've got our zip all pinned and ready to go, we're going to start sewing. We are going to use a wide stitch. Make sure that you can unpick it if necessary, but really this is all about locking in the tape and the fabric to ensure that you don't have to worry about it when you get closer. Turn your machine on, again, and off we go. Moving the pins, removing the pins as we go. Making sure we turn it right over them. First side done. Next side. Once again, removing the pins. Go right over them and cause any major needle breaks. Now what we've done is we've made our stitch width narrower. We're going to roll out our teeth so that we get as close as we possibly can. Remember, it's an invisible zip and it's meant to be exactly as it says, invisible. I know it sounds really stupid, but a lot of people put invisible zips in and you can see them more than you can see a flap zip. You see how with one hand I'm rolling out the teeth, the other hand I'm supporting the tape, and this way I don't have to worry about the bottom fabric because it's already locked in place. We're stitched in our invisible zip. We need to make sure this sits flat. Now we know we didn't pull the fabric because we had a stitch in there to start with to make sure the teeth and the zip didn't move. So we can just happily press over it. It will take you quite a few goes to get this right to start with, and I recommend buying quite a few cheaper invisible zips just off the tables you can find at your local shop to practice as much as you can. It's really important to get that practice in because if you don't, your garment is not going to look how it should do. Now what I've prepared in my skirt is a metal zip, and I'm going to pin stitch it. There's a few different ways you can do your zip. You can pin stitch it all the way around. I quite like to do that because I really like the teeth and I think it's a feature that you could have. The other option you can do is you can put a flap, and so what you would do is have the fabric go over maybe 2 mil of on the right hand side of the skirt so that when you zip it up you can't see those teeth, and you would do that all the way down. So you would pull those pins out and make sure that that's hidden. But as I said, in this case I really like middle zips, so I want to see it. So I'm going to put that back in. Okay, so drop your needle, place your foot down, take your pin out, and don't forget, it's a pin stitch, so as close as you possibly can. Turn your machine on, and off we go. In this case, I'm going to run it to a point, and roll it, and then we're in. Swing your skirt round, and the same on the way up. Move that out the way a little bit. Take your needle out, or your pin I should say. It's going the wrong way. And keeping that fabric as close to that tape as you can.